Welcome back to the Love and Relationship Lab. Do you want a relationship? Or are you ready for a relationship? Imagine walking into a grocery store after not eating all day. You promised yourself you would buy healthy food. Maybe some vegetables, fruit, lean meat, and the essentials. But the moment you walk through the doors, something changes. The smell of freshly baked bread catches your attention. You throw it into the cart. Then come the chocolates, the chips, the ice cream, the soft drinks. Foods you never planned to buy suddenly seem irresistible. Later, when you get home, you realize you spent far more money than you intended, and half of what you bought wasn't even good for you. Why? Because you didn't shop with wisdom. You shopped with hunger. Now, think about relationships. Could the same thing happen with love? Could emotional hunger cause us to choose people we normally would never choose? Welcome back to the Love and Relationship Lab, where we explore love, psychology, and relationships through wisdom, science, and real-life experience. If you're new here, consider subscribing, because every week we uncover the hidden patterns that shape our relationships. Today, we're talking about something that many people confuse. There is a huge difference between wanting a relationship and being ready for one. Those two things sound similar, but they are worlds apart. You can desperately want love and still be completely unprepared to receive healthy love. That's because wanting comes from desire. Readiness comes from healing. Steve Harvey often says that people should know what they want before inviting someone into their lives. But here's the problem. After heartbreak, many people don't actually know what they want. They only know what they don't want to feel anymore. They don't want loneliness. They don't want rejection. They don't want silence. They don't want to sleep alone. So instead of looking for the right person, they start looking for relief. And those are two very different searches. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah had just ended a 6-year relationship. The breakup devastated her. She cried herself to sleep for weeks. Every memory hurt. Every song reminded her of what she had lost. Friends encouraged her to move on. Some even said, the best way to get over someone is to find someone new. At first, she resisted, but loneliness has a way of changing our thinking. A few months later, she met Daniel. He seemed charming. He texted constantly. He complimented her every day. He told her she deserved better than her ex. After months of feeling invisible, the attention felt like medicine. She wasn't asking herself, is Daniel emotionally healthy? She was asking, can Daniel make this pain stop? Those are not the same question. And because she was emotionally starving, she overlooked things she normally would have noticed. He became controlling. He wanted to know where she was all the time. He isolated her from friends. He criticized her confidence. Whenever she questioned his behavior, he reminded her that he was the one who stayed when everyone else left. Slowly, her gratitude became dependence. Her dependence became fear. Her fear became another unhealthy relationship. Instead, she had simply exchanged one form of pain for another. This happens far more often than people realize, not because people are foolish, but because wounded hearts are searching for comfort more than compatibility. The painful truth is this: pain lowers our standards if we aren't careful. Not because we don't know better, but because emotional hunger whispers, anything is better than being alone. Steve Harvey has often reminded people not to mistake attention for commitment. Someone texting you all day does not necessarily mean they are emotionally mature. Someone buying you gifts does not automatically make them trustworthy. Someone saying all the right words doesn't mean they have the character to build a healthy relationship. But attention and love are not the same thing. Real love brings peace. Emotional hunger simply seeks relief. That is why the period after a breakup is so important. It is not a punishment. It is a season of recovery. Think about someone who breaks a leg. No sensible doctor says, "You're lonely because you can't walk. Go run a marathon tomorrow." No, the first instruction is always heal, strengthen, recover, then return. Yet, when it comes to broken hearts, society often sends the opposite message. Get back out there. You'll find someone better. Download another dating app. But emotional wounds don't follow a calendar. Healing isn't measured in weeks or months. It is measured by honesty. Some people recover in 6 months. Others need 2 years. Some need even longer. There is no prize for moving on the fastest. The goal isn't simply to move on. The goal is to move forward in a healthier way than before. And here's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They expect the next relationship to heal the wounds left by the previous one. That places an impossible burden on another human being. Your next partner cannot become your therapist. They cannot repair every insecurity. They cannot erase every betrayal. They cannot constantly prove they are different from your ex. That responsibility belongs to you. A healthy relationship should add joy to your life. It should not become the emergency room for wounds you refuse to treat. This applies equally to men and women. Men often hide their pain behind work, casual dating, or emotional distance. Women may hide theirs behind constant communication or seeking reassurance. The behaviors may look different, but the wound underneath is often the same. Neither person has fully healed. And until healing begins, emotional hunger continues making decisions. Now, let's answer the bigger question. How do you know you're actually ready for a relationship? The answer may surprise you. Being ready has very little to do with how badly you want someone. It has everything to do with how you live when no one is there. Steve Harvey has often said that a relationship should be a partnership, not a rescue mission. A healthy person isn't looking for someone to complete their life. They're looking for someone to share it with. One of the clearest signs that you're ready for love is this: you no longer need a relationship to prove your worth. Think about that. There was a time when a text message could determine your mood for the entire day. If they replied, you felt valued. If they didn't, you questioned yourself. But healing changes that. Your confidence is no longer controlled by someone else's attention. You stop chasing validation because you've learned to value yourself first. Carl Jung believed that every stage of life invites us to become more psychologically mature. Maturity isn't about age. It's about taking responsibility for your own emotional life instead of expecting someone else to carry it for you. Another sign you're ready is that you become curious instead of desperate. Instead of asking, "How do I make this person like me?" you begin asking, "Is this person actually right for my life?" That single shift changes everything. You're no longer trying to earn love. You're learning to evaluate it. Notice how different those two mindsets are. One gives away its power. The other exercises wisdom. You're also ready when you're able to hear no without it destroying your peace. Rejection still hurts. Disappointment is still real, but it no longer becomes your identity. You understand that not every connection is meant to last, and that's okay. Perhaps one of the healthiest signs of readiness is patience. Not the patience that tolerates excuses, the patience that refuses to rush something meaningful. People who are emotionally ready don't panic because they're single. They understand that being alone for a season is far better than spending years in the wrong relationship. Steve Harvey often reminds people that loneliness should never become the reason you choose a partner, because the wrong person doesn't cure loneliness. They often multiply it. You can share a home with someone and still feel emotionally abandoned. You can wear a wedding ring and still feel unseen. Real companionship isn't measured by physical presence. It's measured by emotional safety, mutual respect, and shared purpose. Another important question to ask yourself is this: have I learned from my last relationship, or have I only recovered from it? Those are not the same thing. Recovering means the pain has faded. Learning means your choices have changed. Maybe you've learned to communicate more honestly. Maybe you've learned to recognize red flags earlier. Maybe you've learned to set healthier boundaries. Growth isn't proven by saying you've changed. It's proven by making different decisions when familiar situations appear. Finally, understand this: the right relationship will never replace the work you owe yourself. It won't create your confidence. It won't give you purpose. It won't fix your fears. A healthy partner walks beside you, not ahead of you, pulling you along, and not behind you, carrying your emotional weight. They encourage your growth, but they cannot do the growing for you. So before you ask, "Am I ready to find someone?" ask a better question. Have I become the kind of person who can recognize, receive, and sustain healthy love? Because finding love isn't the hardest part. Keeping healthy love is. Thank you so much for watching. If this message spoke to you, leave a comment below and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear where you are on your own journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Love and Relationship Lab, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next discussion. Remember this: don't look for someone to fill the empty spaces in your life. Build a life so full of purpose, peace, and self-respect that the next person who enters it becomes a blessing, not a necessity. That's when you're no longer just wanting a relationship. You're finally ready for one.